koa. Aha koa kei te patua rawa te whakamā, even though it's extremely embarrassing. I have to show you this trouble spot. Mā rake rake te kitea, as you can see, it's nothing.
Not nothing. I mean, there are bits there, but are those the bits that you want in your garden?
Oh, aua. Kua pai te hau e hoa. We've tried like 3 times to get something going in this shady area. So we went, okay, let's just go grass, a bit of karamu. Nau ke tēnei homai, you gave that to me, and the karamu went for gold.
So I reckon we carry on with that theme and go for native because they're low maintenance, they'll pretty much grow in anything. So you really don't want to be out here weeding, do you?
Tika tai, you're reading my mind.
The plants that will suit this garden better are a range of native flaxes and grasses that will thrive in the shade without much attention.
He oranga tō e nā kupu katoa e hoa. I'm loving what you're saying. Nā reira, me timataki here, where do you even start?
These big agapanthus roots are going to come out. We're going to take all the weeds out. Obviously, the tree can stay and the karamu can stay, but the rest, gone.
Okay. Me karanga I ngā hoa. Where are my friends at?
We're going to keep the rocks, but we'll get rid of as much of everything else as we can. The tree roots are taking up a lot of nutrients at the moment, so we're adding some garden mix as well to bulk up the soil. It's important to make sure that the soil is as weed-free as possible to delay future weeds from growing.
Nā te manawa reka e hoa. This looks so good already. I'm like, that's good, we're done.
We could leave it like this. It does look great. However, the weeds would grow back if we didn't plant it up.
Ah, koe nā hoki te mate te whāriki, ne? We were using a weed mat under there, but actually that was having an opposite impact, wasn't it?
I'm not a fan of weed mat because the roots can only go so far, and then, you know, obviously they need to access nutrients from down in the soil. So I'm thinking without the weed mat in there, the plants are going to thrive.
Te hā te pē whai ake nei, so what else do we need to do? Next step?
We're just going to play with the rocks and the plants and lay them out until we get a look that we like.
Ka rata te harakeke ki tēnei taiao, ne? So the harakeke will really like this sort of environment, the soil and the shade?
Yeah, well, they'll pretty much grow anywhere. With native plants, they're so used to our climate, and these guys don't need that many nutrients, yeah, so they'll be sweet as. So we've got some carrots here. This is called frosted curl. We want these sort of toward the front and with quite a bit of spacing because they have a really beautiful form. They come up like a fountain and they make this gorgeous spread and have the little curly tip on it. When you plant them, weeds don't grow underneath them.
Kare tuati tēnā, I love the sound of that. Nā reira ko tai mahi, what you're doing there is you're looking at spacing and heights here?
We want to make sure that each plant has the space to grow into because in a year's time this garden will look completely different. And if they've got their space and they can show off their form and really skite about how beautiful they are.
Ngā mea turu traki hanara nei. Are these the tractor seat ones? Am I learning something?
Yeah, it is a tractor seat. It's Ligularia reniformis and it gets a really big leaf on it. Probably stick one down this end. That'll fill up this whole area here.
He mea no, te mea whakamutunga. What's the last part?
My faves.
Me he whāreki, ne? These are like a little mat, aren't they?
These are gorgeous. This is a ground cover. This is Scleranthus biflorus. And it's got this little hill moundy thing here. Kids particularly love this. It's quite magic. This will go along the front, and also I'm thinking with these rocks of building a little rockery and shoving some in there. It will spread to about 1 metre.
Those little rocks all came together beautifully. We have a hapanihi kind of Japanese garden thing going on now.
It's beautiful, and those Scleranthus, they'll grow down over the rocks. I reckon this time next year, the garden will have grown into itself and you shouldn't be able to see any dirt. Awesome. When planting, the holes need to be bigger than the pots. Loosen the root balls and plant them with some compost. Always start with the biggest plants. In this case, it's the harakeke. And finally, a really good layer of bark mulch to keep the weeds down and to retain moisture and, of course, to look beautiful.
So just a good watering and we're done?
Yeah, just to let the roots settle into the soil, give the plants a good drink, always after planting them. You shouldn't have to do this very often because these are low-maintenance plants.
At the beginning, the timatanga, do we water this every day?
We're going to give it a really big drink now, and then maybe every second or third day for a couple of weeks. Of course, if it rains, we don't need to do it, but yeah.